Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the webinar, The Way Forward, from Government Employee to Your Next, Career Transitions and Insights, delivered by me, Dr. Gloria Solomon. If you would move to the next slide. Thank you, ma'am. I want to just begin by telling you how this kind of came about. I have coaches, different coaches for different areas of my life. And once they determined where I was at this point and kind of the things I went through, I was encouraged, I would say strongly encouraged to do this webinar to share my experience of how I got here and with hopes of helping others that may be experiencing some of the challenges and decisions that I had to make during this time. So we're here today, and I hope to enlighten you and share something that will encourage you and hope that it will help you through this season. So, um, you know, this is a dynamic work environment with evolving challenges in this day and time, whether you're in the federal government or the private sectors. And today, what I want to do is to share my story and share insights about career transitions and managing some of the challenges that you need to move forward. You go to the next slide. Again, I'm Dr. Gloria Solomon, and this was a challenging time for me. I was facing job elimination. I work for the federal government. As I'm sure you all are aware, most of us are kind of read the news and hear different stories. The federal government was going through transition with making a lot of changes. So I was at a point where my job was going to be eliminated. What they call in the federal government is a RIF, reduction in force. So I had two options, and you can see them there on the screen. Number one was to stay and continue to be employed and do nothing. And option two was to take an early retirement with a package. Well, the option one was kind of a challenge for me, just kind of not knowing. I'm a person that likes to be in control and kind of know what's going on. So I had to take a look at and think about, that my situation did not stop my assignment. So I had to think about what my assignment was and kind of look in my decision, look at weighing pros and cons for both of these two options and see what was best for me. Next slide, please, ma'am. Part of my process was embracing my purpose, which would take me beyond my position. Now, some of you know me, so you know I'm all about purpose and been purpose focused for several years now. So I want to tell you about my purpose because I've gone through several different things and processes of trying to determine my purpose. And that is to share discoveries that matter to serve the needs of others. And for me, that came in the form of coaching, mentoring, and training, not just my coworkers, but people that were within my sphere of influence. And what I needed to do was kind of shift my vision beyond my current role to see my larger purpose. So I had to look outside of where I was working with the federal government. And I do a lot of things other than just, work for the federal government and helping people define their purpose. The career transitions offers opportunities for realignment and growth. And when I talk about realignment, I mean realignment with your purpose. And we all have a purpose. It's what I believe. Mark Twain said, two of the most important days in your life is the day you were born and the day you determine why you were born. And I believe that is your purpose. Why are you here? And I think that's different for everyone. So I've kind of embraced my purpose in helping me to make the decision of my next. So next slide, please. So I want to show you my next. My focus today SCG Collaborations. That's my new company. And I am Dr. G, People Developer. And I want to tell you, um, I didn't give myself that name. People started calling me that and kind of referring to me as you help people develop and become their whatever. So People Developer is stuck. Uh, I serve as a purpose-driven leadership coach, and I'm a travel agency owner. So I thought best kind of list here some of the things that I do. I do individual and group coaching, leadership workshops, purpose factor assessments. And I want to pause there because I am all about purpose. And my kind of tagline and motto is living um, for purpose, with purpose, and on purpose. And I feel like all the things that you do, once you know your purpose, you make decisions along those lines. Does it align with my purpose? Does buying a house align with my purpose and what I'm supposed to do for myself, my family? Does the job that I choose fit within my purpose? And I have to take a sidebar from that when I'm coaching people, and so many of them are mid-career or kind of later in their career, and they determine that their purpose is not their job and not what they do with their job. And I always try and tell them it's like, well, you've got to make a living. You got to pay the bills. So you might want to keep that job that's paying you, that's taking care of all of that, and then do your purpose as your hobby or as a side business or job. Just volunteer for that. But don't forego your purpose because that would give you so much satisfaction in life, knowing that you are operating within your purpose. So it may not be your job, it may be the add on and the extra sideline that you're doing with your purpose. And the last thing I have there is travel agent ownership and curated travel experiences. I got into that because I like traveling and it just fell right in for me to have a second income. I've been doing that for a while. So now I'm going in 100%. And I appreciate my coaches are on the line with me. Um, but that's where I am. So helping people in those areas. So that's what Dr. G is all about. Next slide, please. Now, enough about me. And I want to add, please, if you would, if you have questions as we go along, put them in the chat. And what we're going to do is once I finish the presentation, I'll come back and address some of the questions. Now, let me just get into what you all came for, what I said that I would do in the presentation. And I want to give you some actionable points to help you through this season. Now, the first one here, and let me direct you over to the right side of the slide. You see where it says take action and the little heart there. I would hope that you would be all in, fully engaged, heart there in taking action for yourself. So, handling uncertainty in job security. The first point I have here is building and maintaining a robust professional network. Someone told me some time ago, and I always kind of refer back to it, and I question myself. Your network is your net worth. And I would just ask you to think about that. What does your network look like? Who's there? Are those people that can help you? Are they connected with you through work, through organizations? Maybe after we finish up, take a look at your network. A lot of people use LinkedIn for their network, but I think it goes beyond that as well. So think about that. You should continuously upskill and diversify your skill set. Having skills will prepare you for any uncertainty. I know during this change with the federal government, I saw a lot of my colleagues scrambling, trying to figure out where their next job would be. What were they qualified to do? And at that time, I don't want to say it's too late, but I always use the phrase, don't get ready, stay ready. So think about that. What do you need to do to be prepared for the future? Where's your industry going? What would be next for you? If your job was eliminated, the company shut down, what would you do next? How would you go out and position yourself? And the last point here is maintaining financial resilience. With uncertainty with a job, one of the first things that comes to mind is how am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to take care of my family? If you have a little cushion there, built to kind of a slush fund or some savings there, that kind of takes a little stress off for a time, depending on what you have there. But that's something to think about as well. Next slide, please. Next is looking at the techniques to overcome resistance to rapid change. Change is always going to be around. Now, what we're experiencing right now is rapid change in a lot of areas. So today, we've got to be able to adapt and adjust. I think one of the first things that we need is to understand the why and seek clarity. In most of our roles, you may not be the decision maker. We all report to someone. So the information kind of flows down. So what is the information you're getting at your level? I'm going to challenge you to go back to the supervisor's manager and ask the question, why? What are we doing? Get an understanding. That helps to overcome some of the resistance and have you to be in position to know your next move. They may not be able to tell you everything, but you might get an understanding of what's going on. Another way to do that is by doing your own research. I tell people Google is your friend. Now we have that wonderful AI. So do some research, talk to colleagues, but do understand what's going on in your world at your job. And I believe that will give you some comfort to understanding the change. Next is embracing a growth mindset and developing new skills. I think mindset is everything. And we'll talk about that a little more a little later. You should identify the necessary skills, not just for your current job, but for future jobs. Actively learn and practice, and then seek feedback and look at coaching and mentoring. There's always someone there that can support you and help you along your way. And the last point here, participate and collaborate in change processes. I have been involved and been on a lot of teams that have given me the opportunity to be part of the change, that my voice can be heard. So don't sit back and wait for things to be done to you and say they did this. Be a part of the change. There's always going to be opportunity that you can have your voice heard and have input. Do that. Do that. You have ideas. You've been on a job. How many years? A lot of times you know more than the managers know. Give them that input and help do that. Be the change that you're seeking. Cooperate and collaborate with your team. Next slide. Now I want to give you some strategies for managing emotional stress and preventing burnout. Now, stress comes in all forms and fashions, and we know that stress will kill. So we have to manage that. The first one is prioritizing your work-life boundaries and self-care. What time do you check in to work? What time do you leave? Do you work overtime? Schedule your downtime and hobbies. I know oftentimes, especially when I was working from home, remote work is good and bad. Because I'm at home, I can always run back downstairs if I forgot something and do 30 minutes more. Oh, I can finish that because, I'm right here at home. I don't have the drive time. But we really need to have those start and stop times for our own benefit. Do that. And prioritize your sleep and nutrition. I have to say that if you're not well, and can manage your health, then you can't be any good to anyone else. You need to be well before you can go to the job and do a good job, take care of your family, and support other people. So do that. Set your boundaries
Thank you,
and
guys.
yeah.
Even
The next one is develop stress coping mechanisms and seek support. I'm not sure what you do to kind of cope with stress, but I love music. Now, I'm not one that's going to go out and exercise and do all of that. That's an effort for me. Some people love exercising, playing sports, and that's their stress reliever, and that's how they help themselves to relax and do those things. But you need to find something that works for you and do that. If it's doing something alone or doing something with a group or a team, some people may play baseball, softball, those kind of things, and actually even play golf. Whatever it is that makes your heart sing, do that. Now, there's other things that you can do. I know with most companies, they have an employee assistance program. Sometimes we need to get help that's more than just talking to someone. We may need to seek a professional. Don't let that hinder you. It's not taboo to get help. And you don't have to tell everyone your business. Do what you need to do to take care of you. My one thing is just do it. And manage your workload and expectations proactively. My last months at work, let me tell you, my word became no. I'm not able to do that. And I started pushing back. I was just found myself the go-to. Gloria will get it done. I will take care of this and do all these things. And it just became overwhelming. So I would have a conversation with my manager and we would sit down and go through the list and I would tell her which one is the priority. And you can only have one priority, two at most, and maybe kind of double up. But everything can't be a priority. And let's move some things around. So I know today with the reduction in workers, the work still is there. There's not much of a change with that. So that means the people that are remaining on the job do more work. So I would suggest to you to have that conversation to say, what is a priority? And what I would do is I would tell my manager what I thought the priority was. And then she could tell me if it was different. If I've got it wrong, let me know. But I can only do one thing at a time, and that's it. Because if you think about it, I would tell people whatever your pay is, you're paid for 40 hours a week. So you calculate that and you make so much an hour. So if you're putting in more than 40 hours a week, your pay goes down. Do the math. Numbers don't lie. They pay you for a certain amount. Maybe you should try and give that amount. And we're always going to do a little bit over and extra, but you determine what works best for you to make sure that you're honoring your boundaries, having some self care, and not being stressed out. Next slide, please. Now, here's something that I'm just love thinking about. And again, you can see I've got that heart there. Your mindset matters. Where's your mindset? What are you thinking about? Do you have a growth mindset or is it closed? Your situation is not your destination. It's a season, and all seasons end and pass. There's a time for everything under the sun, and just remember that. You need to acknowledge where you are in your current circumstances but don't let them limit your future potential. Vision creates opportunities. Shift your perspective to see beyond your current role. New paths will emerge when you're open to change. Have you recognized a door that was open for you? Has someone reminded you? It's like, that's for you. Step through. Oftentimes we get caught up so much in doing the work day to day that we miss the opportunity. Know what you want to do that comes with that purpose and stay vigilant to your opportunity. Embrace strategic transition. View your career transitions as strategic choices that can lead to greater fulfillment and alignment with your purpose. You know, you have to think about a strategy. Um, we apply strategy to so many areas of our life without even thinking about it. When we're dating, we're strategic. I like a tall man. He's got a six pack. He's this or that. I want a woman that looks like this. She's slim, tall, those kind of things. That's strategic. Are you strategic about your career? How can you be strategic? I say first goes to purpose, and then take your purpose and kind of align the jobs that you want to do. What do you like doing? What are you good at? What skills do you have? How does that transition into the job that you have now or the job you should have? Success is deeply connected to mindset. It's not just about what you do, it's about how you are fixing and to grow to, to that oriented mindset. It can unlock your potential. Examine your mindset. See where that leads you. Next slide, please. Now, I'd like to give you these as takeaways. Your career transition can be proactive and empowering. Aligning your purpose with your career path enhances both personal and professional satisfaction. Hope and new opportunities often lie just beyond challenging situations. Remember, it's a season, and there's always hope. Stay positive and look for, I think, that gold or silver lining in different things. Do you know what you can control? Yourself. The quote there by Brian Tracy kind of says it all. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control your attitude toward what happens to you. And in that, you will be mastering change rather than allowing it to master you. I was a control person. I wanted to control so many things in my life. When I let go of that and just said, you know what? What is it that I can control? And it took me a minute. I'm trying to make a list of all these different things. And then someone told me, you can only control yourself. You don't have that much influence over anyone else. So as I can control myself, I look at everything that's going on around me, and then I need to adapt. If it's something or somewhere that either I can't control or that's not acceptable to me, then I know I need to make a change. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've often told people that when I've missed that open door, that was my opportunity. And I'm a believer. I believe in Christ. And I believe he directs my life. So he has a path for me. And he's opened a door for me and I've missed it. And maybe once or twice, and I know I have. Same things like, well, I opened this door for you. What are you doing? Things get a little rough for me because he's like, you're slowing the uptake. Come on, let's go, let's go. And he will change things for me. So it makes me move. I've given you these opportunities. You've not moved. Now is the time. So this is just me. I start going through some challenges where I have to move. Kind of makes it kind of a bad situation for me where I am at that point. So I was like, okay, I hear you now. I hear you now. Let me get the resume together. Let me make some phone calls. Let me do some things to be able to move to the next. So I say to you, be intentional. Know what you can control. Find your purpose and take action. Next slide, please, Ben. Now, I've given you some different strategies and tips, and you may say, that all sounds familiar. Hopefully, there was one thing in there that kind of resonated with you. But I want to tell you, there's nothing new under the sun. I put this together and kind of based it on my journey and my story, and felt like some people were having that same journey. We have, we all have a need to solve our challenges and go through things. We're going through a season. My old pastor used to say, there's a couple phases in life. You're going through a storm, you're in the middle of the storm, or you're just coming out of the storm. And life is cyclical where you're doing all of those, and they're seasonal. So we kind of go through that journey with those seasons passing through. This may be a new season for you with these challenges where you need a little support. I can be that support with the coaching and even being a travel agency owner. But if it's not me, then definitely get the support that you need from someone. It could be a family member, it may be another professional, but do that. Now, this webinar was about outcomes for you, your path forward. And I hope it helps you to feel better about yourself and this season in your life. There is hope. And I hope that you will live for purpose, on purpose, and with purpose. And what I want to do now, there's a QR code there. If you scan the QR code, it's a Google Docs you can sign up for. I have a free giveaway with some resources that I'll share with you in the next couple of days. But I want to make sure that you have some extra support. So I wanted to give you that. And if you would go to the next slide, please. My contact information is here. And what I want to do now is kind of open up for some questions and just some dialogue and discussion with you all. And I may not be the one to answer all the questions. We have a lot of folks on the call. And remember, it's about network. So there may be someone on the call that you need to connect to. And so if you need to do that, we can do that. I am all about sharing and supporting everyone along their journey. And if you would end the recording now, and then we'll go and just like show the chat and see if there's any questions that I could possibly answer and help folks with.